Hey guys, Professor Bill of Comic Book University, and in this week's Marvel Superheroes Advanced Role-Playing Game System rules, we're going to be talking about shooting. Oh, that's right. So check this out. Shooting, we're going to look on page 24, 25, and 26 for ranged. You're going to want to read the whole thing just in case in your advanced blue book, player's handbook. But page 25 very specifically has the rules on shooting. Now, shooting obviously is any kind of a gun, firearm. It could be a slingshot, absolutely, I guess, but it's mostly for conventional firearms. And it's funny that even in this book from back in 1986, it still says guns, which are all too common in the United States. You got your opinion, I've got mine. So, with this being the case, several factors are still going to be involved. If you've seen any of my other videos on thrown or energy attacks or anything like that, there is still going to be the distance factor. So let's say you've got a weapon that's able to, first off, you don't have to use your strength to determine how far your projectile goes, okay? You're not winging this thing, you're not throwing it. And you're not going to be looking at the power rank of your energy attack if you're, that you're going to be looking at that instead. With shooting, you're going to look on page 42 and 43, and you're going to see all the conventional weapons that exist, and that is going to tell you what your range is. Don't forget that the price and range abilities columns are actually switched. If I'm remembering correctly, let me just take a look at my player's handbook really quick. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, the range and price are actually reversed. So do not forget that. So up on top where it says cheap handgun, range is feeble, but price is 2. Well, this actually works out, in your benefit in that because they're both 2. But yeah, it's actually supposed to be a feeble price and a 2 range. And that comes up better when you look at everything else. Stun pistol, it's a remarkable price, but a 2 range. So keep that in mind on page 42 and 43. Now, something important to remember about guns. You cannot reduce either the damage or the result. So if you roll a red result, you got a kill result on this person, and you've got to try and handle it. And there's not even the special modification of, well, I'm going to reduce the damage to nothing. No, sorry, bud. You can't reduce the damage on a shooting weapon, on a gun. You cannot reduce the damage on a gun. There's just no way to do that in the game. And even if you're going to think of some really cool way to, whatever, no. Sorry, bud. Guns are guns, and they come with a certain, so if you're playing the Fool Killer or your own homebrew version thereof, sorry, man. you and jeez, what the heck is Hitmonkey? You and Hitmonkey, you're both going down for first-degree murder. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the way it is. Anyway, if you're going to roll a white, a miss is a miss is a miss, and that's it, okay? It's going to make a loud noise unless you got a silencer. And one of the cool things about guns is that you do have so many different modifications that you can make, all right? And with the, back in 1986, I've never heard of what is it called, a bump stock or anything like that. So consider these kinds of modifications and go and check out my gadgeteering videos if you want to try and think of something like that. But consider all these different kinds of modifications, all right, in order to amp up or soup up your firearms for whatever reason, okay? A hit is a hit. It's just that. You do damage, you do the specified damage that your weapon type does to this opponent. Okay. Also, it should be known that unless it actually says you're going to fire under the energy attack column, unless it very specifically says that, you're still using the shooting column. So if you're going to be shooting, let's say, a flamethrower, I do believe that you're not actually capable of reducing that damage. Unless, otherwise spoken, like maybe you can turn down the intensity of it, but I would also be affecting the range if that's going to be the case. There's got to be some kind of a modicum shift there. It is not a power that you're using. This is an actual weapon that you're using. So consider that as a judge or the player. Be fair. Now, let's say you get a bullseye result. That is the ideal thing to do. That is the ideal roll to make. If you want to hit a Pacific, really, I'm a kid again. Let's say you want, only at heart, you want to hit a specific body part, okay? You want to take out somebody's eye, that's one thing. But you want to just hit somebody in the hand or hit somebody in the gun, okay? Maybe they're trying to throw a knife and you want to shoot the knife right out of their hand. That's cool. Or shoot the cap off of their head. Shooting a bandana off of somebody's head would be a different thing, and I take that very personally. Okay? Anyway, I would definitely consider that the Bullseye is allowed to do all these things. Also, anytime you're going to shoot something that is 1 foot, not one area, 1 foot in, circumference or diameter, not radius, diameter, you should have to get a bullseye in order to hit that thing. Okay? And a bullseye is is never going to be lethal. So let's say you are going to do 20 points of damage to the person. Yes, there is the opportunity that you could say, oh, well, that's, they only had 18 points of damage left, so that's an endurance rank. No. It's very specific here that in this one caveat, you cannot do lethal damage unless you choose to. You will not be doing a lethal attack. It says these will never be lethal attacks, okay? But again, if you're going to try and shoot somebody right between the eyes, I don't see how that can not be lethal. So you do not have to make this a lethal attack. You could say, oh, I shot him in the hand. While yes, you would technically be doing 20 points of damage, if they do go below... if you do 20 points of damage, you're going to do the full 20 points of damage. If they do go below their hit points, just call that a permanent stun. It's a stun until they get their endurance rank back in health because they're in excruciating pain. And of course, absolutely, you could say, oh, they'll never be able to use the hand the same way again. They're going to be -1 or -2 column shifts to every action they do with that hand. So, yeah, wiping could be an issue at that point. You got skid marks from this point on. I don't know what to tell you. All jokes aside, now we're going to get into the no joke comment, the kill results. Look, you don't want to get in the extreme, this end or the extreme that end with a gun, unless you are the fool killer punisher type. You know what I'm saying? But if you're using a gun, you could be that trained chimp from Deadpool, the Jerry Duggan run, issue number, what was that, 298? I think it was. Maybe it's 296 anyway, where he meets up with Hydra Cap in the prison for the first time. Anyway, a kill result is a kill result. You're going to do full damage to the person. You cannot reduce damage. You cannot reduce the result. Not even with karma. You cannot reduce the result. Sorry, guys. So they are going to, and you're going to have to go and check out my video on the slam, stun, and kill for more details on that. And for further details, I'm going to have a video up just on the kill shot. So, yeah. You're talking about losing endurance and permanently messing up a person, even if they survive. It is what it is. Guns are lethal. It's very hard. It's very, easy to shoot something, but it's very hard to control the damage once you've actually pulled the trigger. Okay. Make sure you check out scopes and things like that. That will help you with your distance. But remember, with anything that is distance, you are going to have to deal with every area. If you're point blank, you're going to use your endurance, your agility plus whatever talents you have to make that shot if you're point blank. If you are one area or more away, then every area that your projectile, your bullet per se, has to travel through will result in a -1 column shift cumulative to your agility. So let's say that after your talents and everything, your agility to hit is incredible 40 with a gun, but you're going to shoot something that is 3 areas away. You're rolling under good 10, my friend. That's just the way it is. Scopes will help. Certain optimal conditions will help, like it's bright daylight, you get a +1, whatever, all that good stuff, yada, yada, yada. But, I'm channeling my inner Seinfeld there. But certain talents, when you turn to page 89 in your player's handbook, advanced player's handbook, look at Marksman. Okay, guns allows you to shoot whatever kind of firearms you want. Awesome. The Marksman talent, which costs 2, there's an asterisk there, so it costs 2 talents to take that slot, does the exact same thing as guns, with the extra caveat that now you don't have to worry about distance and losing. If you've got the range, then you can hit at your agility plus your marksman and whatever else you're able to add to it, if you can add something to it. So that, like, marksman is such an ideal talent to have. The last thing I really want to talk about for the most part with the with shooting is I've seen before, including on a face rip Facebook group. That was a mouthful. That people have questioned the military talent. Should military give you the ability to use guns? Well, it doesn't explicitly say that you have a +1 column shift with guns. As someone who served 6 years in the U.S. Army as a combat infantry soldier, all right, and my as an infantry soldier, my weapon that I was assigned was the M60 at the time. I had to qualify twice a year on the M16, even though I only used it those 2 times per year. I still had to qualify with it, and I had to qualify with my 60. And while I didn't have to do a whole lot, I had to go and take the qualification for the sidearm, the Colt 45, but hitting your target wasn't actually mandatory. But getting all the bullets downrange was mandatory. So the ability to fire a couple shots, drop the clip, change the clip, and then, reload, and the full reload, and then fire all of your bullets within, I think it was like 9 seconds. That was how I qualified with it. Anyway, it's just about putting bullets down range. But it's going to be my opinion that regardless, as an infantry soldier, I'm going to say that even though everybody in Army and Marine basic training, and I think Navy also, you do absolutely get the guns talent, right? Here's the thing. What about the Air Force? I've never actually been in the Air Force, but I question how many infantry soldiers are actually in the Air Force. Do they have to qualify with guns? I don't know. But look, when you have the military background, you usually get to use the military, what the heck is it called? The stats for the military, for the soldier. Okay, which gives you a good 10 agility with your excellent 20 fighting, I can confer, also a typical 6 strength, and a good 10 endurance. So that good 10 agility, that's what usually counts for your ability through basic training to actually be good with a firearm. But the guns talent is a lot more than just your, your basic ability to shoot a firearm, okay? Having a high agility and no gun talent still means you got a high agility when you're going to shoot things. And if you've got Marksman, hey man, Marksman means that you're really good at using any kind of weapon. But what about assembling and disassembling the weapon? What about cleaning the weapon if there's some kind of a jam? That's something that's very exclusive to the gun talent. Now, I know that when I was in basic training, before I actually went down range in Fort Benning, Georgia, to actually do my infantry training, we didn't learn how to be blindfolded and take apart an M16, A1, or A2. I'm old, so we use those. And then clean it and then reassemble it, okay, within a certain time period and all that stuff. No, because there's the field cleaning and then the full cleaning, all right? And the field cleaning is timed. So if you get mud in your rifle or anything like that, then you could wind up suffering a jam. If on my M60, there's oftentimes I'd get a double feed, and it's like, oh crap, that's really dangerous. I have to keep an E-tool on my side and pull it out and reach in and carefully pull those bullets out so that those 7.62 bullets out of the chamber, so that I can then, fire my rifle again. Also knowing how to change a barrel, all right, of an M60. After 10 minutes of firing this thing, regardless of how much, and less if you're just squeezing on the trigger instead of doing a 5 to 9 round burst, a 7 to 9 round burst, whatever it is, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have to actually change the barrel, and knowing all of these things, this is a part of the actual guns talent. That's where Marksman doesn't necessarily come in handy. Hey man, you can shoot a gun, you can shoot a stinger, you can shoot a bow and arrow, you can throw a knife or anything like that with the Marksman talent. But actually knowing how to care and handle your firearm, that's an entirely different story. And that's where the guns talent comes in. And someone who is a cook in the military, while you may have to qualify with your rifle, actually cleaning it and all that stuff, that's probably the job of the quartermaster. Your supply clerk, so your supply sergeant. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And that is my honest opinion of the military talent and the guns. And so, no, I do not believe that you get a +1 column shift to fire a rifle with your military talent. You get so many other things with your military talent. And we'll get into, talents like that, at a certain point. But for right now, that is my opinion on the discussion. So that being that, let's fade to some music, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.